Perfect. We're on the stream. Let me just open up a few things here. We'll record this as well. So, good morning, everyone. Friday, October 4th. Had to check that, double check there. Pretty interesting start to the day with non-farm payrolls. That's what everyone was looking for, pretty much. That's what everyone was looking forward to, I guess. And this week kind of showed that because we just had sideways movement realistically for the majority of the week, especially the last few trading sessions here where they were defending extremely, extremely well from those lows. That was my thought process, right? If we're continuously holding these lows without too much of a break lower, I was honestly looking for 57.10, 57.05 area to try some swing longs on the S&P, but I guess the non-farmers had different plans. Still had some longs from yesterday, had some longs yesterday. It was a pretty solid kind of momentum move, and we'll explain as to what is expected for today's trading session, what's going on here. So as things shape up, right, the non-farm payrolls were the major focus. Federal Reserve, right, apparently super confident that inflation is sustainably easing towards that 2% area, meaning shifting its attention to maximum employment, part of its dual mandate. And the labor departments closely watched non-farm payrolls took center stage this morning. In recent months, job creation activity has moderated and unemployment rate has risen, though it is still historically low. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said, "We do not seek nor welcome further cooling in the labor market conditions, indicating that jobs have become more of a concern." And this week saw two major data points: the job openings unexpectedly jumped in August, and the private non-farm payrolls for September. We saw them this morning. So where did I put that data? So if we look at financial juice here, we can see what this data point really looks like. The headline figure was expected at 125,000. What we got was 223,000. Very big beat. So the fact that the Fed has cut pretty aggressively over the last meeting, which was September 18th, right? A 50 basis point cut from them, and their focus, like the expectations from that is like bad data is going to be very bearish realistically, because that would suggest that they've preemptively cut and things aren't as hunky-dory. So we got to watch out for data points like that. Today, big beat. I don't know what the number, or here they are. The previous was 142, revised at 159. The forecast was around 150, actually. The U.S. non-farm, or sorry, that was the private payrolls. I was looking at the wrong number. The real was 150, right? Prior 142, and the revised was 159. So they came out at 254. Still a very, very drastic beat there, which helped this market just springboard up here on the overnight, the pre-market session. We also had the average hourly earnings year over year, which increased slightly to 4%. The unemployment rate dropped slightly. It's still kind of heavy, I would say, at 4.1%. But overall, it seems like things are going to the Fed's plan. Now, how real are these numbers? We don't know, but we'll see in the coming months, realistically, how that shapes up. So this could add fuel to the Fed's next hike, which isn't this month, but the next meeting is in November. And there's one in December as well. So in terms of other news, we have Fed's William that talks pretty much now as I'm talking. Very rude of him, but he's on the wire at 9 a.m. Eastern today, which is right now. So we'll see if Fed market volatility and movement shapes up from that. But generally speaking, as we're going into this, the last multitude of sessions here, right? We had a continuation for the attempted sellers that failed time and time again to break this lower 40 area and this 30 area. So those are two major points where this distribution was attempting to hold, right? That lower 40 around that 42, 45 area on the S&P 500 futures. This bottom band was a huge balance area to hold these guys out. The top band is where we're trading at right now. So we saw constant head fakes below that area. What that suggests realistically, all these constant head fakes below the area you have these excess moves that realistically could not close any sessions below that 42.45 area. The best we got was a close right at it after a head fake and then rally back into that auction, which tells me, okay, these sellers, right, they huff and they puff and they continuously try to pull prices lower without any real continuation. This upside move, I honestly thought that we could get like a jolt down and then this massive bid, but they couldn't do it, right? Big buyers kept coming in into the lows of the session, and those excess moves got disproved, and we get that push to the upside. So realistically, we've almost completed the unfinished auction from that. I think it was Monday, Tuesday, maybe. I don't know what day this was. I think Monday. But we trade back into the top band of that balance from this larger distribution at 5,800, high 90s. That's a big target, right? They've gone and completed it. You can see that they're failing. A few buyers are getting a little jammed up into that territory, but very bullish. We have a decent like B-shaped profile in the market profile here with huge volume that's sticking out at these regions. So realistically, this becomes an immediate major support within the distribution around 65 to 68 on the S&P 500 futures to see if we hold that with that single print, low volume, heavy volume, the massive clustering. This week's balance, right? You have everything in line, which becomes like a last point of buy side expected in this market if we do pull down. So I do expect to see some kind of morning weakness right after this massive bid. It's just when you have a massive bid like this pre-market, some profit taking is expected to come in, right? Some repositioning. So realistically, I would like to see that 80, 82 area hold on the futures as that support structure to see if we can continue this rally. Last chance, in my opinion, is a 65, 68 to continue that momentum to the upside, right? You start breaking these areas, which is why I kind of wait a decent bit to kind of get a better understanding of who's in control here. You start breaking under these areas, what happens is you go back into that weekly balance and you continue the same stupid little dance. So if I stay on the bull side, those two areas are pivotal realistically to hold out and to get that bid above that 5,800, right? Go clean up this poor high and start seeing some of that aggression to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on the SPOOs here, trying to see if we can get that continuation today after an early morning sell. And like, that's the thing, as long as we're within this distribution, especially holding to the upside on the distribution, what we're looking for is drop, right? And I don't want to get too trapped in the drop, because if it drops like 10, 15, 20, 30 point, well, 30 is a little bit stretch, but even it can drop 30 to get into those high 60s. A lot of people are going to be looking at this and being like, oh my God, okay, shit, sell is on. But in reality, we're still holding these massive auctions to see if we can continue that upside momentum higher. So I'm leaning to the bull side Friday buy day. Let's see if this can continue. But I am looking for them to try to pull prices back before that happens. So them. Anyways, you look at like the delta profile, it's very telling as well. You have the congestion of a lot of negative delta into these lows, continuous clustering without any real closes below this 42 area. Very important region. So the failure to constantly do that and getting a lot of these people trapped is fuel for this upside swing above a lot of this nice blue positive delta, which comes into confluence with that 65, 68 area on the SPOOs, where I would like to see that continuation. We've left behind a trail of buying here, so I do like that to see if we can hold out, go and complete this auction into this cluster before naked point of control, right? General target 58.10, and then we kind of see what happens, maybe back into that 20. So that's how I'm trying to look at this, right? Still bullish on pullbacks to see if that strong, juicy buy side still has some legs to it. Nasdaq, similar story. Nasdaq, the disrespecter of the level. I had that 970, 960 marked out. And then we have the top band of the balance around that 880, that next balance to the downside, and constant peak below, can't do it, peak below, can't do it, peak below, can't do it, peak below, can't do it. So above this area, right, that 960, 970, we move back within this auction above this 070. We move back within this auction where we're coming into a very important area at 260 right now, where I could expect some kind of pullback. We have very limited volume until this single print, and where that volume converges back again into that 070. So that's a major area. I understand it's a very deep pullback at that point, but it's kind of the last chance for these buyers to see this thing hold out. The next area realistically is somewhere over here into that like 150-ish, you can call it, something like that. I'm going to be watching to see if any buy side wants to step into there, but I want to see a little pullback and then continuation on the bid on Nasdaq as well. So we're into both of these assets are trading back into some very important auction areas with a lot of volume getting created. Also, the fact that there's a lot of delta that's trying to get created into that area, that's getting a little absorbed right now. So that kind of comes into confluence with the idea of identifying a pullback or a start of a pullback from that position. You take a look at the S&P 500 on the footprint here. You have this single print imbalance failure where sellers coming in. These guys are getting a little jammed up into these highs. So it's creating the potential where there's some sell pressure from that 5,800 to see that little pull down and like where can we go, right? I'd be looking for that lower 80. We can see where prior imbalances came from. So there's not too much here because it was a pre-market news event. So not that many prior imbalances that we can kind of lean on right now. So the overnight delta is kind of scattered everywhere. So that's why I'm just leaning on the larger balances that we have. If we take a look at the Nasdaq, oh my God, let's try to fix this because that is ugly. So let's change some things here on this NAS. I thought I had saved this chart, but apparently not. So here's the NASDAQ on the footprint perspective, right? You have that's a lot of selling actually. Wow. Is that real? It's a lot, right? You have a lot of selling. Wow. That's what the hell? That's a lot for Nasdaq. A lot of that selling. Wow, I'm impressed. So a lot of people getting in this area, right? Like a lot of pressure here. So this thing could just start bidding off the open realistically. Like, yeah, I'm looking for pullbacks. You can see there are a little more imbalanced movement somewhere here on Nasdaq. They've like left the trail of like massive imbalances. This is impressive work here on Nasdaq. Some big orders. Damn. So I'd like to see pullbacks, but like this is telling me you might not get them. So that's kind of where I'm at with these equities today. I'd like to see them pull back, but geez, that's some impressive stuff. Woo! That's a pretty good long, honestly, Laurent. Like they're leaning back deeply into this chair. Seeing that pre-market kind of absorption there, that's really high. I'm waiting for this open. There's still a lot of time into that, but like Nasdaq, they're both at like two very important. They're both at two very important areas on the SPOOs and on the S&P, creating a lot of volume here. So like, if Nasdaq just opens up a bit off the open, I wouldn't be surprised because if you start offering below that like huge delta, I think like the sell comes in a little aggressively. So let me know if you have any questions as we start the day today. Just waiting for Fatty here. Topic of conversation today. Let's see. take a look at some of these. Let's take a look at some of these equities. I wanted to see this 10 area, but nope. On the big tech front, right? I'd imagine a lot of these are trying to gap up right now. Nvidia, right, holding a bid. Nvidia's been trying to hold a bid for a while, but they need to start breaking above that 130. Microsoft had some recent downside, and like even yesterday, like okay, it's gapping up right now, but like starting to get a little oversold right now. It's trading that 200-day average. Apple holding up. Meta probably trading all-time highs again. Yep. Um, what else? Amazon had a pullback, right? Pretty strong gap to the upside here on Amazon. Um, let's see if these hold. Uh, these tech names, if they hold into the open. I know Tesla was getting pulled down on some news recently. If Nvidia and all these guys hold into the morning session, could present a bid, but I'm a little cautious with the extended move here to the upside and like the volume that's getting created, a lot of absorption into these highs. Makes sense, honestly, to see some kind of pullback. Like it doesn't have to completely destroy this move, but an initial move to the downside. If you want to be really risky, just short this pre-market. Didn't I hear everything's good? Like, are we just buying open? Yeah, there's some seller absorption into these highs. I'm like, that's a big task. Solve to the Middle East and he has to go to 10K. Are you up for the task? We have the like we're trying to offer below this like larger absorption into the morning session. Like this is everything's shaping out for that initial pullback right now. Pushed aside right now. We got about 5 minutes until this market opens. Look at these on the weekly while we're here. So NAS on the weekly, a lot of volume drop off. Whoops. Oh, shit. Keep pressing the wrong numbers. Volume drop off like 130s, 140 start, right? That looks pretty interesting in terms of the bottom of this balance to try and continue. Maybe we get 320 today. 320, 330. Because like you start losing this area, you get back into a balance lower. That's not what the buy side would like to see. You got this like low auction from last week into the highs as well. We're not that far from an all-time high on the spoos on the Nasdaq. It's a bit of a mission, won't lie. Where's the spoos weekly chart is my question. Is that? Yeah. So again, a lot of balance into the lows kind of crammed below this mid to high 60, right? Realistically, that's where we would want to see these guys actually hold. Prior balance into all-time highs. So it's shaping up for dip buyers to be advantageous, I would say, today. My trusty timer. 2 minutes. 2 minutes until the market's open. Here's the market open very soon. Yeah, strategies. I mainly trade based on auction theory, volume profiles. It's kind of a broader answer there. Pretty much what I break down in terms of the plan in the morning.
Morning, Vic.
Morning, Faye, what's up?
How are you, bro?
Not bad. What are you up to today?
Nothing. Gonna buy dips.
Hell yeah. Let's see. We opened. I think there's gonna be some sell to try and come into this, and then we can get some buyers of dips maybe, or we just go on like a just turbo bid to the upside, and then like whatever happens happens. like Nasdaq is pretty juicy into these areas. Massive negative delta that got created. We're trying to trade under it right now. Pullbacks are starting. Ideally, these things don't just shape up in the first like 5 minutes and then just ballistic bid to go and continue throughout the day. That's kind of what would be bothersome for the session. Nasdaq pulling down pretty nicely right now. So is the SPOOs. Let's see how far these sellers are willing to go.
Heavy on the offer right off the open. 220 on Nasdaq has a ledge. That was, acting as support pre-market. We break that right now. We're trading below it. We might be hitting to the bottom end of the distribution towards 2180 on NQ. Who's following through?
Yeah, I'm interested to see maybe like 140, 150 on the nose. But we got some time until that happens. Continued sell, trying to persist here on this. Now, as we're coming into the first area, or not that close, we're almost there on the SPOOs. Morning sell off of all that little, I guess, low volume buying pre-market. Thanks NFP for that. Oh, this is getting nasty.
Yeah. I'm gonna try a small 220 short on NQ.
A lot of orders on the bid side here on Nasdaq kind of getting eaten up. SPOO's little bounce from that like 86, I think, something like that. Some pretty big size coming out on this dumb on this NAS. Looks like they pulled it back, and then these guys on the sell side just continuously
Yeah,
getting stuck at these higher prices. Like, damn.
they held the 220 in the bid this time. I thought that pullback would get deeper. That's why I kind of had the sell idea as like, damn,
Yeah,
if
right.
it pulls back, like now, if it rolls back into the high, I need to see another extension before I buy, which will take a while.
Yeah, I want lower prices. Like, there's a lot of these
Mm,
sellers that are kind of getting jammed up, though. Back into that like massive negative delta from the pre-market here on Nas. Jeez, instantaneous offer. They're holding these sell areas right now.
nice. I got it. I got the sell the second time. I was this early the first time. The way I seen this is like traded 236 and then pop back, reject 220. That was good for an entry.
Yeah,
Buyers are still aggressive. Look at that bounce back up to 220.
yeah, it's getting very jumpy. Like you have like at
Yeah,
208 as well, like some pretty big delta that just got shaped up there. Spoos pretty much at target area to see some attempted buy side to come in. Like what was that low? 83 kind of just tags instantaneously. Nas continues to play some shape shifting games here. A lot of these sellers on the Nasdaq kind of getting jammed up
yeah,
into these higher prices,
they are.
which is weird. Not deep of a pullback on Nas. So waiting a bit before I start to get too active here. Seeing the intel right now isn't giving me too much intel right off this open. My alert's about to go off as well. There we go. First 10 minutes in the books, nothing too crazy has happened here. Nasdaq just like this range of swings going on. Fighting for its life on both sides. Every time that like some decent sellers come in on Nas, I kind of get rebid. Down to the 208, massive negative delta here, Nasdaq again.
The bounces up are just aggressive. This is,
A bit off of it.
yeah.
We start fighting again. Not deep enough for me to buy, not aggressive enough for me to sell. S&P holding from that 83 kind of one touch. Holding a decent bid right now. Range day Friday, just like the rest of this freaking week. Yeah, Mike, I think it's about that time. Time to go to the bar. These charts aren't doing anything. It's been an interesting September, October period so far. You know, like one day of like decent movement, and then it just like rotates within that day's balance for eternity. And then the move happens overnight. Another attempted push a touch lower here on Nasdaq, only to get bid back up. We're back into a scalpers market. Down into the '08 again. Let's see on Nasdaq. Just go turbo gigabit again on this. Temporarily holding below it, honestly, I'm impressed. There we go, back to normalcy. There's a bit of backup. This Nas is moving like a freak today.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's too much.
It's not like S&P is any better though. Like watching this thing just oscillate here.
One is crazy and one is oscillating in its place.
I'm like, do I short this NAS into these top areas? Back to the 0.78 area, where a lot of these sellers keep getting jammed on this NAS. Can't break 200. Oh, there it goes a bit. At the current day lows, S&P not so much.
This range is overplayed. It's like you could have sold it, you could have bought it. I did it. I sold twice. No, first time was a stop. Second time was decent, took profit, then went to break even, came back and stopped me. I feel like it's just if I keep rinsing and repeating here, it's
You're
not
gonna
good, you
get put
know?
on one side.
Yeah, yeah. So like I'm okay taking two shots. Like on an idea, it's just more than that. You're over executing. Also, not a clear direction so far. We're hung up against 220 as main attraction price on Nasdaq, and we just like huff and puff around, hold support into 200, sell 225, 220, and it's just been the story. But like I don't wanna like shoot 4 or 5 trades in one area. If it goes dips from here, that's fine. I'll buy it on the pullback. If it rallies, then we shall see. Do you buy overnight, Vic? You did any overnight trades?
Yesterday, the 33 on the spoos.
Nice, nice. I seen that on Discord. Yeah.
That's about it though. I didn't do anything else. Like I was looking at it, I'm like, do I buy more into 45? And I was like, I'm not, whatever. I don't need to do this right now. No one's forcing me to do this. What is going on this week? Like, geez. What exchange do I use to trade? The CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange for futures. Just every day is rebalance day. See our chart set up with a CQG data feed. Sellers are trying to come into this a little more on the SNAS. It seems like the buy side is letting off just a bit in comparison to what it was before, but like still, these just like oscillations, whip up, whip down, are honestly insane. Like S&P is trading in a 3-point range. Nasdaq's like I guess 30-ish, which is a lot better. Break the lows, break the lows, break the lows. Fucking buyer comes in out of nowhere every time. Trade 160 Nasdaq. No. Trading a smidge lower here. You have a lot of resting bids on NAS into these lower prices. S&P back into this like high 80 trying to hold. Nasdaq rebids pretty fucking hard. By the time Nasdaq could even potentially trade 150 area, S&P is probably still going to be able. Another test these 180s. I see the big bids there. Just go and fill them and then do whatever you want. So I can at least get some peace of mind here in terms of the potential for more sell pressure to come in. Like, yeah, okay, they keep rebidding every little offer that comes in, but at least get into an area that's nice.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I should have kept working though. 220. It is what it is now.
Doing pretty well on that short.
It was a tough short to get on board, honestly. It's too
It
choppy.
was a tough short to hold, I think.
Yeah.
Let alone get on board. I'm watching, like, they're starting to get into towards those areas. There's your morning sell. Let's see if prophecy gets completed in terms of later buy. 160 is trading on the NAS right now. Let's see. I'm watching these SPOOs here as well. Both of these are getting offered pretty aggressively. Like, that's some big selling right now. Let's see if I can. Let's see these guys. If they hold another bid here. SPOOs. I'm gonna try my hand on these SPOOs into that long down into that like 81. Let's just see. This Nasdaq is kind of on a freaking tear right now. Whoa. Okay, there goes. Stops very quickly here. Big bear Momo. I'm taking out of that. I got another area down into that mid to high 60. Downsides possess this thing, just completely destroying us. Deeper pullback than I expected, right at that 70, massive stuck seller, about 500. Like, you little rascals. Let's see. $500's on the offer here. Pretty heavy selling continuous.
I haven't got to buying it yet. Still, all I did was like the two earlier thoughts. I think just selling took a lot of work to get below that 220. They put in a lot of effort, and that momentum might carry on for a while. So I'm waiting for more confirmation. I want to see price action pop, pull back, hold, rotations, stuff like that before I get active. I have an area here at 89 on Nasdaq, 88, and then below that like 60s.
There's a lot of people getting trapped on this food at this time. Let's see if it's real. Try and bid into this again. I might do it down a little lower too, into the 69. Just consolidate these guys. It's like a one touch off of that, then shit. These guys are getting active fast.
Nice pop here from the 80 area on Nasdaq. I want to see it down there. 88 again, I'll try it along.
The spoos just ran up after those guys got gems low. Selling's pretty aggressive, right?
Rotations. Yeah. Where's the buy side argument? And below 0.60 on NQ?
Yeah, like the 0.70 realistically is the area that I'm watching on this NQ to try and hold that bid. Like after that, it kind of just like dies off. Like even this S&P, like, damn, this they're trying to sell into this low. They look a little stuck, but Oct4 keeps trying to hammer into this 70 area on these spoos. Let's see if they can go for a little run here. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Rebids gets offered pretty aggressively here. A lot of imbalanced orders.
Nice pop on nails. I have a piece of the long 76. Just too early to get too excited. I'm probably gonna offer like 108 and 120.
Take some more. Oh, there we go. There's the S&P. Let's
Nice.
go. Let's sell some more, just in case. All right, there's the S&P move. Let's see if we can run this a little higher. Nasdaq closed at 0.70 as well. Maybe we take one more off into the 78. Let's see if we could run it into that like 84 area. I didn't take both of them. One at a time. Solid 8, 9 point move here. I'd like to see like 84 area, 80 area, something like here. Nas under that like 140, it's kind of in the middle of shit right now. Like you'd want to see the bit above that. They held that 070 really well here. It was a pretty solid move. You got like 50 points out of it. 40, 50, something like that.
Struggling a bit for a higher expansion to the upside here. Is just like half the long is just unsettling. Keep taking pieces off. So it's
A lot of selling trying to come in on this S&P at this high right now. Nasdaq pulled down a decent bit. A lot of selling on this S&P. Let's see if these guys can just jam them, but that's a big fucking sell there. That's 78. It went from like bullish order flow in the morning to now like, ooh, where did these bears come from? There's another one, two left on this. Another target, let's say these 85s. Nasdaq needs to combust through that like 120, 130. Thing's struggling, dude. She's struggling. What do we do? Fuck. The flow's a little bearish here, my peoples. If they offer through this like 70 area, it might be curtains.
It's giving curtains.
We're just going back into the weekly balance from last fucking week. You gotta be kidding me. Like, this is impeccable, honestly. Like at this point, if we can't hold this, like if we couldn't hold that area and like move above that like low 80, let me get rid of this. That like low 80 on the S&P, like we start offering back under this mid 60. I don't know. I'm not a fan. Nasdaq just nuked. Pretty sell the rally mode here. We're deep enough under this auction right now on Nasdaq to start looking for that sell to continue from that 070 area. If there's any kind of pullbacks. S&P is like deep in the trenches right now under this like mid 60. Goolsby is speaking. I didn't even see it on the fucking calendar. Treacherous. Decent amount of buying on the spoos down here. Interesting. A lot of negative delta left behind from that 70 on the S&P. Back into that same spot here, 060, 070 on Nasdaq. Nice buying on the lows from this boost. I don't know. This is kind of wishy-washy right now, so that's gonna wait. Most definitely shaping up for a better potential sell. ES as well, back into that territory with all that negative delta, right? You need to see some like heavier reoffers, maybe closer to 70 to continue this momentum. Otherwise, like you bid back through that, you go weird little range mode. That doesn't interest me. Watching to see if seller comes in from that like 70 area on the S&P. I guess like Nasdaq's kind of the same. Pretty fast bid back up here on the SPOOs. Nasdaq as well.
I'm shorting this at the moment. I would rather it make a run like into like 96 or 100 than on the way down sell hold rotations below 80, below 70. I'll try it. It's too heavy on the buy side right now for me to try. I want to see like more weakness because it sells like a couple candles lower and then it rotates back up and you see like this ultra fast bid. So I'm going up a blind limit just based on a weakness and then do it. I want to see a lot of rotations. Ideally a head fake higher.
Yeah, like they are rebidding it again, but like, damn, these sellers are still trying to fight this thing out.
Yeah. Big buying now happening 74, 75 for NQ.
Get them stuck. Get them stuck. Buying persists here on this S&P as well. Slow grind of buying. This is that actually I don't really like because you get these like head fake moves through these areas and they start ripping on the directional move. Oh boy. Back into 110 on the nose. Is getting a little wonky right now. Exhaustive buy side move here. Huh. It's interesting because like Nasdaq's like kind of volatile, but not, if that makes any sense. Like that's the burst of volatility.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Hello?
can hear you.
Yeah, my bad, sorry. I
Please
had to
do.
change the mic. Yeah, I had to change the mic because suddenly it just turned the whole thing. I have like I tried one short, small size 104. I like that setup, Vic, when like it popped up, those holds rotations. And that kind of is my setup. So yeah,
Like slowly
that's me.
leaking.
Yeah. The way I see it, like weakness is qualified through the first move. Once you touch the level, you get a weak move. Okay, this is the qualification. Now you want to see them hold the offer. And if you're not good at order flow, the simple way of doing that on Nasdaq is just follow the rotations. You see the rotations around 104, 105. Rejections, holding rotations after a weakness move. Just this is strictly price action. But I don't know if I told you if I changed my layout, like, and there was one. You wanna let me share screen quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Because you're on YouTube, right? You can't.
No, you can. It's
Okay.
it's 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 streamed through Zoom.
Oh, okay. So one thing that helps me here is the footprint chart a lot. Like I use that now instead of the like I still execute on the DOM. So like I have the footprint side by side with the DOM and the price here, and I have the TPO on a separate layout. So go ahead. So like because like Nasdaq DOM, the information is so it's quick, and I almost can't look at it like real time. It's better to look at the footprint for me at least. So basically, what I'm trying to say is nowadays when I trade Nasdaq, it's price action and footprint because I just see the info better on that this layout. Nice run. Come on, give me 50s. Out on Nasdaq.
I feel that for sure. Like with Nasdaq, there's like, have you seen my footprint that I use on Nasdaq? It's
No,
it's it's cleaner than what you had. Like I'll send you the settings because it looks like
that
the
would be
S&P one.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
send you the
that's
shortest
great.
one. Just like export it and send it to you because
Yeah,
like the one that you have, like I looked at it too because when I was looking at the Nasdaq one, I was like, okay, like you can get a footprint on it, but then I looked at it and it looked like yours. I was like, what the fuck? Like I can't do anything with this.
yeah.
So I just like changed it around a bit so you can like it's more comparable to the S&P. So like it's the same thing, right? Like it highlights these like massive like big sellers that come in here pretty much where you were getting short, they hold them, right? Okay, rotate lower. They look like they're getting a little stuck here. Like let's let's see if you can get that pull lower under that area, right? Like as it
Yeah,
was coming up.
yours definitely looks cleaner. I just started playing around with the footprint. I didn't like I have one of your old chart books and I couldn't
Mhm.
find the footprint over there. So I kind of just built my own, but like I know it needs work. It's not very clean, but like I just look for like cumulative delta on bar on the candle. That's one criteria that I look for. And the
Yeah.
second thing is like stuck buying and stuck selling. Yours is a like better visual, that's for sure. It's just mine is like it does it for me. But I'll definitely work on it. Or you can send me yours though. Make things a lot
Yeah.
easier. Yeah, yeah.
Is because like the like it kind of replicates the S&P footprint where like you can see like the large orders like pretty clearly.
Yeah. I think you're
Delta.
um, I'll be interested if they offer 180 here. I want to see the same setup. Sorry, 080. 180. I want to see a weakness qualified by sorry. Three candles to the downside that have heavy selling, cumulative delta rotation back up, hold the rotation. And then I'll try the short one more time into the 80s. Mm-hmm.
Large accumulation on these sellers. What's trying to sell right now? It's not getting anywhere fast. So much for
The,
Friday buy day. What the fuck?
I know, right?
Scammed. These sellers are something else.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Falling off a
You know,
cliff.
they're
I
gonna be
couldn't
us.
get on back on the short. I tried to layer them like 64, 68. I didn't get a fill. Oh, no dice. 220 is an important level though on Nasdaq. That's kind of like the bottom of this like bulk of volume block or distribution, however you want to call it. It's an important level. Like sellers need to push below here. I know they look strong, but at the same time, this market is wishy-washy. It can flip very quickly. Mhm.
What is this, like OPEX? What's going on here? We haven't done anything since those longs on the spoos. Like it worked out fine, but some buyers trying to come in. ES, like, whoa, this thing just collapsed on itself. And it's like kicking into volatility high gear right now. A lot of selling, a lot of buying. No one knows where it's going to go. The large orders don't even know where they're pulling this thing. Reoffer from that like 50 area. Huh. Still looking pretty bearish. S&P trying to attack its lows a day. Nasdaq not giving it up just yet.
220 still holding. Honestly, one more rotation here. I'll probably shoot the long. 220 failed to break this time around.
This is an
Kind of
insane.
fell.
I'm saying.
Fell 28. Have one more at 26. Partial fill, but whatever. That would have been nice if I got a full. Sorry?
It's going.
I got 28. I was layering in on Nasdaq to try to long when they failed to break below 220. Try to fill like did those rotation between 32 and 36, trying to fill 28, 26. 28 filled, 36 didn't. Hmm.
I'm just like watching right now. I'm like semi tapped out of this. I had a decent trade on the spoos. Like,
Nice.
I don't know.
So I'm just a degenerate. You don't have to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's Friday. I'm going to my grandma's house later after this. I don't want to go in a bad
I
mood.
don't. I know, right? Hey, Vic, why are you so mad? Mom, I just blew two straight $2,000.
Downpour. I have to come back here and live.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not getting the best of reads. Like
Oh
after
my
that,
God,
look at
look
this.
at
Like what the
that
fuck is
thing.
going
It's
on?
lapse.
Like this is the thing. Like I'm not getting the best reads of this right now. So like
Oh,
it instantly bids re-offers. Like the best read I had was
yes.
like trying those longs on the spoos earlier on. Like I would argue it's still bearish, right? They're trying to catch a bid, but like how far do they get? Not very far. The offer comes in. They're rounding out a decent bit at this low. Like I wouldn't get ahead of this and like start shorting these areas like that. Like continuation for the spoos on the downside. Like I like them to hold these like higher 60s, low 70 if they get to that point. And I was trying to bid this 0.60 area now. Probably an area to honestly try to pick out a short on this nose to the 0.60 region. See if we can come back down to those lows. S&P looks like butt completely. first of all, someone comments on YouTube. Who's Stefan? First of all, maybe they're looking at my last name. But okay, fine. My last name is pretty close, but like if there was nothing there, then I'd be curious. Where'd you get Stefan from? But been trading for the last 6 months, frequently struggle with patience and wait for a setup. Any tips to improve it? Yeah, just wait. Like that's it honestly comes down to discipline realistically. Like if you're finding yourself like super trigger happy and whatnot, like one of the key criteria that I think would be decisive for that realistically is having more of a like there's multiple ways to go about this. Obviously, like I do advocate for a journaling process because then you can define your trades based on the trade plan that you had and compare those. How do those stack up? Like obviously, if you're trading out of plan every freaking time, then like you know everything. You have to do something differently. Like for me, one of the things like I was like over the last like month of August, I would say I might have been a little more trigger happy where I was like I had like multiple trades on a day. So one of the things that helped me wait for those areas and that patience is or was the timer, right? Wait the first 10, 15 minutes of the day. Some people prefer to wait the first half an hour, wait for the IB to form and kind of lock yourself out of that trading so you can get into that environment to get more information, not even more information, just wait for that setup to come in. That's like one of those physical barriers. Also, like one of the other things, if you have a like physical actual like daily drawdown blowout where it just like your system or whatever you trade actually locks you out for the day if you hit that daily drawdown, that's a very effective way too, because like if you hit it in the first 15 minutes you're eventually going to learn or you're going to blow out, right? Those are the factors. But like otherwise, like those are difficult questions. Tip for patience. Other than do it, right? You have to limit yourself some in some physical manner. Otherwise, like you're not going to be able to kind of adhere to that realistically. Um, for me, one of the big things is like when the market opens and things start moving like this, you get very antsy, right? You're trying to pick out trades like left, right, and center. Things are moving. You're trying to like grab onto things. Like it goes up, it goes down. You're like, fuck, I need to be in this like Nasdaq whipping around right now. Like you might have the urge to get into these trades, but the matter of the situation is you kind of get entranced in that environment, right? Like you psychologically get sucked into it where it's like this nasty trance, and then by the time you kind of wake up out of it, right, you've done already a lot of damage. So the way that I like to limit that is honestly having a timer that's like front and center on the screen, having some kind of information that locks me out for the first 15 to 10 minutes, because that period is usually the most volatile. It happen like when you see orders coming in off the open, they get pretty frantic, right? So at that point, once that kind of settles down, right, it's kind of past me at that point to be very like aggressively frantic in this market, right? I can wait this out. It's going up, okay, fantastic. Fatty's long. I really don't care that much, right? That's just for me. Like on Nasdaq, I didn't see anything that I would have liked other than order flow, right? And I don't really want to trade that on a Friday. I had one loss, one really good trade here on the SPOOs, and like that's the thing. You don't have to force yourself to continuously trade. Another aspect is like if you're struggling a lot, just have a max goal on the day. What goal would make you fairly satisfied, right? And like it's a goal that you've been able to hit fairly frequently, something to build out consistency and just like stop after that. So like on SPOOs, again, it's not really at my area. Like, yeah, okay, order flow is coming in there. I could have taken it maybe, but it might build out like a bad habit later on. So I'm not like touching this. It looks a little too frantic for me. I only want to trade the areas that I care most about, which haven't really traded right now, right? Like a few times. And like S&P on that sell from 80 was a one touch bounce. So here I am.
I'm out of that long. Last one took was 82. I want to see if 80 holds here. I'll try the short. Another like sell rotations. You see where it rotated after that weakness came from 92. If they hold sell here, I see another sell rotation. I'll get in on the short.
Yeah, I think it was a good long. I just like For
I
me, it
think
was like, do I take this on order flow? And I'm like, I don't know. This is the first day in a very long time that I haven't touched Nasdaq. And like this type of environment right now that's
Maybe
like
let's
swinging
go.
back and forth. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying let's go. I got the short.
Nice.
It'll win 20 points. So yeah, keep going. Sorry, go ahead.
What I'm saying is like in this market right now, this environment isn't like my favorite because it's kind of like scalpy, jumpy, right? Like Nasdaq, you can get 20 points on these moves, which is like great, I think. But like for me, I don't love that. This requires a lot of concentration. I'd be low too, I guess on ES it's closed. They're kind of holding it great, right? I want to trade that's at a key area of a key distribution that's shaping up some kind of thick volume so I can just like punt it and like walk away. Like on NASDAQ, I wanted to see if they can hold that 070, 060. Like now they're just like dancing around it. S&P that high 60 area, which we got long, like it should have made a new high. Otherwise, I stopped buying it. Like if I look at this from a volume perspective, if we're looking at the overnight balances and where the thick volume is, this is what I was saying in the morning. You have this area over here with the heavy volume, and then the drop off in volume at that single print, which is what we were buying. And you have this area over here, right? These two heavy volume blocks that theoretically should hold. Does it only say my last name on the Zoom? No, this is my first name too. Victorio Stefanov. No. Realistically, Nasdaq like 130-ish would kind of hammer home this bull along with spoos above that like negative delta block at that 70. So like if these areas are to hold, right, it could be an interesting little spot to find some of these dip buyers if the expectation to the upside is into the afternoon. Right now, I'm just
I don't want to hear that. the buyer as an argument. I'm working the 80 short, Vic, so
Whatever.
it's like this guy's like, they're gonna film buyers. Bro, stop.
End of the day, it doesn't have to happen now. If it drops down to
Uh,
like 4 spoos, fantastic. Buy it there. Nasdaq into that 970, 960.
Pops are aggressive.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. Yeah, I think both of these markets are kind of a harder read right now.
Took a stop there. I worked the 80 short twice so far. One time partial take profit, went to break even. Second time went a bit in my direction. Rolled back, took a stop. I don't know. I was just like the way I see it when I look at the TPOs, like this is a big distribution here between 2100 and like all the way into like 19940. So like you're trading towards the upper limit, 100, 120 being like the upper region. We touched that region, touched 100, and then they tried to offer 80. I thought, hey, like we're gonna run that train back down in terms of like distribution. It's just not didn't happen, and I don't want to pay more honestly to find out right now. Think it maybe has room into 120 before we see the offer. Mm.
Possible.
Any plans this weekend, Vic? What are you up to?
I'm just going to my grandma's place.
Yes.
For the
Sounds lit.
weekend.
Better than Vegas.
Yeah. Not doing much.
He calmed down a lot from back in the days. Back
Yeah.
in the days, Vic was like Europe, different area of Europe every weekend. I'm like, damn, I want to live like that. That's insane. No, because
Caught up.
like so chill. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm going
caught
to
up
my
with his.
grandma, gonna
Yeah.
have dinner, tune my sins.
Yeah, pretty much. Like in the
That's
summer, a
good.
little more so, but like now, tired and lazy.
No, that's ones.
Yeah. Once I hit 29 this year, it was over for me. Continues the grind higher. We could have seen that low. All right, run these polls here. Do an early exit one. We'll just do a normal one. Fridays are more relaxed days. 1, 2 trades.
The market wasn't relaxed though, to be real to
Wasn't
you.
doesn't mean I can't be.
Yeah, yeah. That's that's true. You're relaxed, the market isn't.
Yeah, market
The,
was
yeah, the buyers and sellers are itching over here.
like a knife fight over here.
Yeah. That was a session and a half because like at the beginning it was all about 220, right? I wasn't holding. Is it gonna sell? Is it gonna not? And we kept fighting that for on Nasdaq at least. I speak on Nasdaq because I trade it more nowadays. And like it was all about 220 and we couldn't hold that offer. And once we caught that offer, it was just like weep to the downside until like they failed. Like the best trade I done today was like honestly I think getting long the 228 where like well, one thing I noticed, like, it was a ledge from the volume block, so that gives the level emphasis in terms of you need to see strong selling quickly to get below. Then the second time around, they failed to get below, and then it bounced up, gave me the setup that I like to look for, and then I got that. After that, I tried 0.80 short. Read that, I was short 220 twice, and honestly, I wasn't on the main run. I know Michael Shorts was, which is great, but it's just tough to hold. I right now it's kind of playing into the buy side analysis coming into 120 here.
Still holding against that 120.
Nice, Mike. Do you VSA a lot, Michael? Do you use like wider targets? Do you get out at once? Yeah, my position size is too big, Michael. What do you want? So when you VSA, what are you shooting for? Are you holding the whole thing? Kind of like what George used to do. What's your VSA process? Nice.
TP 150 points. Well,
Yeah, you're
what are you
shooting
overnight
big, it
trading?
does. You're overnight. No, I like it. I like it when you shoot big for your winners. You know what I mean? I don't like minimizing the numbers of losers, and you do that by, following market context, make sure your trades are at good levels, waiting for a clear setup that you're buying into strength or you're selling into weakness. And then like the second portion of the game to me is like you gotta have like I wouldn't say deep profit target, realistic, but at the same time, like tapering profits too early can be a bad habit. That's one, and two, it will mess with your overall. So I like it when somebody tells me, "Hey, I'm shooting for this." I'm like, "Okay, that's good."
Yeah, it's good. Like if you're using a 30-point stop, it totally makes sense. You're probably playing some like pretty big areas too.
Yeah.
Not willy-nilly in this like bullshit little range type scenario. Watching these guys rotate on those. And that's on that continuous attempted buy.
Yeah, no offer in this market right now. Decent areas of resistance, however, no signs of weakness. So no trade. What I would like them to see is like sell it from here, ideally, because like if you get above 120, the argument really kind of dies out for the sell side. Get below 80, hold below 80. Might try one more short there. As is, buy side is the right side, and buying 105 isn't my cup of tea. So if you're long from below, like that's good. These guys are crazy, man. One of the guys I went to Vegas with is texting me. He's like, "Hey, we're trying to book Costa Rica." I'm like, "Bro, I'm trying to stay. I'm trying to stay in bed holding my phone and just like, not doing nothing. You guys are insane. I need older friends."
Here comes the bid. I said pretty strong. Get your votes in. We're going to wrap it up. These days, last few weeks have been pretty difficult, right? Like I think a lot of these moves can suck you in pretty easily. Massive order sitting at that
Yeah.
one at that 150. But yeah, I think that's about it for the session here. I tried trading that S&P, like it worked pretty good. Didn't do anything on Nasdaq. Slow and steady here for me. So just gonna stop the stream on YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and we'll probably do it again next Friday. Patience is key. Check out community.TradePro Academy for that